Hey guys, this is the video for week 4, hard to believe, of our distance learning. And as is my habit now, I'm going to go to the calendar view in Canvas. Um, so we're getting to the point where there are fewer things to do, but some of those things are bigger things. So it's kind of a little bit of a trade-off. So I'm trying to keep it to where you still have the same amount of time expectation to as best I can, as best I can estimate. Um, but since these are some longer things instead of the journals and little short discussion questions, there's not as much for this week. Um, I haven't changed it in Canvas yet, but the Bookshare project had been pushed to the 17th from I think it was originally well, no, it was originally the 9th, since the 10th is a holiday. So I pushed it back one week. I'll make sure and adjust it to where it shows up, or at the very least, you don't get a penalty as long as it's turned in by the 20th, since we're trying to have things on, specific, consistent days. Um, but I talked about that in last week's video, so I won't get too much into the details now. But again, this is just the one where you're creating something, and I'm sorry that I don't have as many specific guidelines, just because I want you to have a lot of flexibility for those of you who like to do visual things. You can make a poster, or even if you feel like you could do a video. For those of you who are like me and don't feel as confident in those creative skills, you have the option, or artistic skills, you have the option to do kind of a more traditional written review. And then there are some other things that might kind of fall between the visual and writing, but have again a little bit more of that creativity to it, like doing a social media campaign, or a magazine article, something like that. So again, with the social media campaign, just like when we did those other projects in the fall, you don't actually have to create a Twitter account or an Instagram or Snapchat or whatever for your book. You could do it still in Google Doc, or do it on paper, just to kind of show what those tweets or that story would look like. I guess Snapchat with video stuff might be a little harder, but you could again kind of do like a storyboard of what it would show, or just even an explanation of what it would be like. I know this is a very challenging time, and I'm not going to be, not that I ever expect things to look perfectly pretty. But I am aware that most of us, myself included, are not working with the same resources that we might have if we were in class together all the time. So, keep in mind that I'm not going to be grading it with quite those same expectations. And even if we were in the classroom, again, I am aware that we all have different levels of talents in different areas. And so, like I said, I wanted you to have a lot to choose from. But so you could pick something that you're most either interested in or most comfortable with. And again, I won't get too far into this because, like I said, I know I talked about it last week. But again, the idea here is that you're giving the person who would see this or read it an idea of what your book is like, so they could decide for themselves if it's something they would be interested in. So it doesn't need to have every last detail about the plot or about the characters, or anything. Again, it's just giving people a just a little preview of what it's like, so they could make that decision about, oh yeah, that really does sound interesting to me, hopefully. Okay. So the other assignment that's actually due for week 4 is another one of these quizzes in Canvas. Again, it's not a test grade, but it lets me give you multiple choice questions if I create it as a quiz in Canvas. So this one's all multiple choice, and it's writing skills. And I am aware that these are challenging questions. It will be graded accordingly. I mean, as far as your grade that goes into Skyward. The computer will grade, is it right or is it wrong? But a lot of these are, which of the following is the best thesis statement for this topic or things like that. So, I do want you to think it through, but I don't want you to stress too much if your score isn't great on it. Like I said, first of all, I will balance that when I put them in Skyward. And secondly, I want this to be a learning experience, to kind of try and replicate what some of the things we would talk about in class if we were able to have our normal daily lessons. So again, it's just to kind of help you think through what the best type of support would be in a paragraph, or what the thesis that would bring these the most appropriate. So like I said, I know it's difficult. I know some of the scores may not be the perfect scores that some of us want. I will take that into consideration when I put it in Skyward. But just like I said, think about it as a learning experience. I'm pretty sure I have it set up so that you can see the correct answers as soon as you're done. So you can kind of try and think through, okay, well, why is that one, according to the I didn't write these questions. But why are, the people that did write it, why is that better than this one? And if you do have any questions, let me know. You can email me, you can call me, and we can talk it through if you really are concerned about it. Because like I said, I want it to be a learning experience, not a true test of everything that you already know. Hopefully this is, building on things that you've been doing at least since freshman year, except maybe this last one. But overall, expository writing is something that's, not a new thing, just a higher level here maybe than what you have to do on the STAR test. And let me go back to the calendar. So for those of you that get the paper packets, I did put on the task list for week 4 the research paper. It's not due until the end of week 5. So again, right now it's on here as the 24th, but I'll probably move that to the 27th again to keep those due dates consistent, as Mr. Hasselbach has asked us to do. But anyway, so it's not due this current week. It's not due week 4. But it is something that, in my opinion, is a lot easier and a lot less stressful and intimidating if you work on it a little bit as you go, instead of, trying to do it all on that last day. I've been procrastinating things since before any of y'all were born. So I understand that sometimes that's a thing we do. And again, in the slightly reduced requirements for the paper, you could do it in a week if you had to do it in a week. If you really had to do it in a day, people have done it in a day, but that would be an unpleasant day. So it is just my suggestion to you that you kind of, as soon as you're done with the outline, well, not as soon, but relatively soon after you finish your outline, that you start thinking about, okay, how am I now going to take that information that I've gathered and that I've organized and flesh it out into the final paper. And if you put thought into your outline, it shouldn't be too intimidating anymore. I know writing for most of us is always intimidating, even for some of us English teachers. I get it. But like I said, that can be the beauty of a good outline, is that it can really take the the weight away from just staring at that blank page, because it's not really a blank page if you have that outline worked out. I'm not going to get into specifics of how to write the paper in this video because I'm planning on making a few more short video. Well, that's the goal anyway, short videos about what the paper should look like, including one about like the works cited page and some of the formatting, as well as how to actually use your sources in the paper. Because for some of you, this might be the first time that you're really writing a research paper. Obviously, you've written lots of essays, and like I said, I know you've written expository text before, so it's not a brand new thing. But as far as actually, you know, again, when you're doing those STAR essays, everything has to come from inside your head. They don't let you use outside sources. And so I think sometimes that can be a scary task, but it shouldn't be. It really, I think, is in some ways, once you get the hang of it, easier and better. So like I said, I'll have some separate videos about that, and I'll post those on Canvas too. So they'll be on, they're not there yet, but they'll be on the assignment page for the paper, so you can get to those there. And if you are subscribed or following my YouTube channel, things I never, ever, ever thought I would say, but you should be able to find them on there too, instead of having to dig through Canvas. Anyway, let me know if you have any questions. Just like before, I'll have video tutorial sessions scheduled next week, and available by phone or email at any reasonable time. In the meantime, stay safe, take care, make good choices.